Hey everybody, welcome to another Wild Wednesday. I'm Chad, one of the naturalists here at River Legacy Nature Center, and today we're going to talk about something a little different that most people probably don't even realize we have and how important they are to us. So 90% of the bees that are native to Texas are actually what we call solitary bees. And most people don't realize that they think the only bees we have are the European honeybees that are social bees that group in large groups, make large hives, honeycombs, nests, and paper wasp, things like that, that build paper wasp nest and hornet's nest. Those are all what we call social bees that live in large congregations, large groups, and that's why they're protective of what they do. They have a queen in there that they're protecting, and they have workers, they have drones, they have all these different tasks assigned to these bees and wasp, and they come out, and some of their job is just to protect that nest. So that's why it's dangerous to approach some of these nests, because you do have a high chance of getting stung. The solitary bees, on the other hand, they don't live in groups. They're called solitary bees just because of that. They live by themselves. The female bee lays her own eggs, takes care of them herself. She doesn't have a queen, and that's why they live alone. And like I said, 90% of the bees that are native to the state are actually solitary bees. Most of those will dig actual burrows into the ground. They will go in there and lay their eggs in the burrow, and then they bring in a combination of pollen and saliva and nectar, and they put food droplets inside that tunnel, and then they will close off that tunnel and let those eggs hatch, and then when the larvae come out of the eggs, they have food already in that tube. Once they grow and turn into their full grown adult bee, they'll come out of that tunnel, they'll go out and they'll start pollinating just like the mother did when she was getting the pollen and the nectar to lay the eggs for the young. So the solitary bees are really good pollinators for us to have because they're local, they're native, they're here. Even though you may see them sometimes, think they're honeybees because they look very similar to the honeybees. A lot of times you're seeing solitary bees that are pollinating our gardens, pollinating our flowers, wherever we want to bring them into. We can help them out, and we can make what we call solitary bee houses. And that's what I'm going to do today, is show you some solitary bee houses that you can make to put in your own yard, in your gardens, or in your flower beds around your flowers to attract those bees in. They're easy to make and they don't cause any problems. And these bees hardly ever sting. They can sting, usually only if you're stepping on them or messing with them while they sting you. They're not aggressive bees, so they're good to have in your yard for pollinators. So there's several different kinds of solitary bee nests you can make. You can buy these already made, but it's kind of fun to make them. So this is one of them. This is simply made out of a birch log, and then it's drilled different size holes with a roof that's put on it, and then a mounting plate on the back so that you can mount that to a tree, to your fence, on the eave of your house, wherever you want to mount it. This is the kind I'm going to show you how to make today, but I want to show you a couple of other examples that you can get that are a little more detailed. This is a large one. This is very similar to that, except that this is made, all of these holes in this are individual pieces of bamboo. Bamboo is naturally hollow. If you take and cut between these nodes right here, then it leaves a hollow tube on the inside. And that's all this is a frame, a square frame that's made up with all of these bamboo tubes laid in here, glued together. And these are all individual holes that will attract those bees to come in, lay their eggs, put the food in there, and seal them up. So this is a more complex one, but it's one that you can build at home as well. You can also use, this is just a simple clay pot that you can get that you plant plants in. And I just took some of these bamboo tubes and just stacked them in there to where it's full. And then you can just lay this in your garden or on a fence post or somewhere close to where you want the bees to come into, and they will actually use those. And all those are stuck inside there. So those are just 3 different ones that you can make. And like I said, I'm going to show you how to make this one, and I'll show you everything you need to do this, and it won't take you very long to make. Okay, so basically to make this one, all I've done is taken a piece of wood, and you can get this from your firewood pile, wherever you can find a piece that's just split, and so it's got a triangular shape on the top. This is a piece of birch. It's not a native tree, but it's just a piece of birch that I had. And then you take and you just drill various size holes within this open spot here. Now you can use a power drill like I have here, and I've drilled most of these, but I'll show you how easy it is to drill down into it. So good reason why you should hold on to that when you're doing it instead of letting go. But basically you've drilled just various size holes. Now you can use a power drill like this. You can also use just a little hand drill like this as well. You'll have to get somebody to hold this for you as you drill it so that it doesn't spin around. Or if you have a vise, your dad or somebody you know has a vise, you can put that in there as well. But this kind of work just as well. And just use various sizes. As you can see, some of these are bigger than others. Different bees will use different sizes. Different species of solitary bees will use different sizes. So once you get those all drilled, then the only other things that you have to have is a couple of pieces for your roof. And the roof simply goes on. Actually, I'm going to go this way. Like this, so that when it is nailed on there, it overlaps. That's the right way. And forms a roof on the top edge. So to attach this, you can use some wood glue. You can put some wood glue on here if you want. Make sure if you do, use the exterior type wood glue because it's going to be getting exposed to moisture. But you don't have to even glue it. I just line up the back of the wood with the back of the log like this part here. Put the other one where it will overlap. And then all you have to have is some small nails. And you will just hold that. Put 2 or 3 nails in that side. And come up with the other one on the other side. Turn it around so I can get to it. And I'm not putting all the nails in here, just a few or a couple to show you how it works. Okay. And you'll put 4 or 5 in there to hold it, but you can see how that forms your roof on the top. And then you just need a back piece. This back piece I already cut at angles that will fit on here, but it doesn't have to even be cut as long as it will fit on the back and be okay and cover it up where it doesn't stick up above the top. And you can nail that. You can also use a screw if you want to. I'll do this one with a screw just to show you. Well, actually I won't because I don't have that bit on there. So again, you can glue this before you nail it, but you don't have to. It will tend to hold on there. Okay. Now, of course, when you do this, you're going to have a lot more nails in here. It'll be a lot more sturdy. But as you can see, this one is done, so you can see that it's more sturdy. But it's basically the same type of layout. This piece on the bottom is where you will mount it to whatever you're going to mount it on. If you're going to mount it to your fence post, if this is your fence post, you will just put it there, put a screw in here, 2 or 3 screws to hold that tight, and leave it alone. Then come and check it every so often, and if you see some of these holes are covered up and sealed, that means the bee has come in, the female bee has come in, laid her eggs, put her nectar and pollen in there, and sealed it up, and it's ready to hatch. And so if you watch it over the course of time, it will hatch out, and then you'll come out one day, that will be gone, and the bee will have flown out. So that's the way you can tell whether it's been used or not. Now, like I said, this was just a split log that you can use from your firewood, but you don't even have to have that if you don't have that kind of log. This was just a 2x4, 2 2x2s, and I simply glued them together and did the holes in that the same exact way. And then you can take and put the roof on the top of it just like you did the other log, and it will work just as well. It's perfectly fine to use that. Okay, so that's a quick, easy lesson on how to build you a little solitary bee house that you can put in your backyard. And these will help attract, again, the solitary bees that we need for pollination, and to help your local native plants that you may have, your flowers that you may have, and anything that you have in your garden that might need pollinated. So I hope you give this a try. If you do, maybe shoot somebody an email here and let us know if it works. Take a picture of it and let us know. Check and see if these things have been filled and opened up. And hopefully you'll get some solitary bees to your yard, and that'll help everybody out. So in the future we'll show you some stuff on some different Wild Wednesdays, so come back and join us again. Thanks for coming.